Hi friends, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can recreate this layout which was requested by a kind customer. I'll show you how you can create one with lines and one with grids, and then I'll also show you how you can create or add a smaller date flag on top of a widget like the following, and also how you can add lines to divide the layout like this. So usually you can't place any lines between widgets, but I'll show you a trick on how you can do this and achieve a layout that looks like this. So let's get started and first check out the layout. If we look here on the right side, you see that the right side is very simple. There are just 4 widget boxes, so we will need a layout that has 4 boxes like this. The left side is very similar. However, in the first box here, we will have to divide it into 3 widgets. So a widget here, and then a calendar here, and then another lined widget here like this. So this is the layout we would need to recreate. So first open up a new template, make sure you are on the A5 size for this tutorial, and then next click on Edit Layout. Have it set to on, and now you can click on the widget boxes and then add 1 row above, so you get extra space to add in 2 boxes within the 2 columns we have here, like this. This would be the layout for the right side, and for the left side do the same. Click here, add 1 widget box here and 1 widget box here. Now you see that for this space here on top, we need it to be divided into 3 widget boxes. Now what we can do is click here on the plus button to add a row, add a box, click again, add a row and add a box. And now we need to extend the box next to it all the way down. So let's extend it like this to have something like this. The first part section up here is too big, but so what we will need to do is make the lower one here bigger. So let's increase the lower boxes and let's try to set it to 3 fractions. Now I will explain you quickly why I set it to 3 fractions. Let me copy this here and let me quickly explain to you. Down here below we have just 1 fraction, or 1 row. I call these rows here fractions. These are the 3 fractions, 1 row. And then if you take what we have up here, we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3 as well. So we have 3 here. This adds up to 3. And down here it adds up to 3 as well. So meaning both actually should be the exact same size. However, if we measure them, we will see that this layout here, this box here, and this box here are not the same size, right? Even though we have both set to 3, both parts, they aren't the same height. Now, what is the reason why the upper section is bigger than the lower one? The reason is because we have here in this upper part, we have 3 sections in it, or meaning 3 rows, and between each row there is like this small single gap right here, and this small single gap is around 0.01 or 0.1 inches wide. So this is the additional measurements which will add up to the row and which will make this part here bigger. So what we will need to do is we will also need to add this part down here below, so we can have the lower section as big as the upper section. And we can do it like the following. We can click on the lower row, and just like we did before up here, we can add a new section and then add another section like this. We will not add any new boxes, but what we will do is we will extend this part here up like this, and here up like this. And then we will make the second part, set it to around 1.6 and I think the lower one can be set to around 1.3. So now you have up here 1, 1.6, 1.3, and you want to repeat the exact same thing down below. 1, 1.6, and 1.3. So technically now we should have the exact same box height above and below. Let me show you here. This box and this box are now the exact same size. And if we look here, this part and this part up here are the exact same. 1, 1.6, 1.3, 1, 1.6, 1.3. Okay, and both will add up to 3.9 fractions. And then down here below, 1 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 3 is 3.9 fractions as well. So I just quickly wanted to show you and explain you the way of how the layouts work and the logics behind it. Alright, so now that we have the layout in place, we can move on to the widgets. Let's work on the simplest one, which is this one right here. Click on the widget and then go to Node and insert a simple lined node widget, which is this one right here. Click on it and you will see something appear like this. Now we don't want any thick lines in the widget, so click on it, go to Style, and here you can choose a new style for the widget. So here's where you set the styling. If you want to have an outline around the widgets, you will select Original. If you want to have no outlines around widgets, you can go to Minimal and select one of these following stylings. For this planner, select the Classic 2, which is a styling with just a simple header line like this. Other stylings might have a header, but the Classic 2 just has like a simple line here below the header text. Next, let's see here. We don't want to have any header text, so let's also in the settings scroll down to header and remove the text like this. What you can do is you can also click on remove header, and this will completely remove any header like this. Now this is what we have right now. Let's go back to the planner. And now we will need to find a way on how to add this extra space here to the top. And one way would be, for example, to click on the header and then go to the settings and scroll all the way down until you see a menu called Footer. Now if you click on Enable, you will see it will add you a tiny space. Let me zoom closer. Keep your eye right here. Now I click on Enable and you see it will add you a space. And this space is meant to insert icons like this. And you can create water trackers, you can create mood trackers down here below. So it's just an extra space where you can insert icons to create some sort of a tracker. Now the great thing about this footer is that you can also set the height to a specific height. So if you scroll down under height, you can make it very big or very small, and you can also give it a custom height or a certain amount of inches. Besides this, you can also set the footer to the top. So if you click here on top, then it will add you the footer to the top like this. And what we can do now is we can remove any icons we have placed in here, but just keep the footer and the height. So we can set it to around maybe, I would say maybe 0.8 inches, 0.85, like this. And then now that we have an empty space on top here, we can go back to the settings and click on the date flag. So here in the settings we have something called date flag and we have something called date. A date will just add you a date on the top of the widget, so it will push everything you have below down, and it will add you an extra space to the top with a date flag. However, this date flag will always fully extend widthwise, so there is no way to make this date flag as small as we have it here. You can make the font smaller. Here you can make it smaller, however it will always try to fill out the entire space. This means that we cannot use this date. This means that we cannot use this date for this widget. What we will need to add is a date flag, and we want to add a date flag to the top like this. This will just add you a date flag on top of the widget, so no extra space will be added. It will just add it to you to the top of the widget. So add the date flag and then make sure edit layout is deselected to off, and then you can click on it to pull up this menu, and here you can go to size, and then you can scroll down, and where the left and top menu is, you can click on center left, and this will center the widget. And from the top you can adjust how wide down, how far from the top you want the widget to be. So this looks about right, 0.09 inches. And then from here you can also choose a new styling for the date flag. You can, for example, have it set to something like this, or like this, or like this. Or you can also have horizontal lines. We also have one that looks like this, for example. So I think I will choose this one right here. And then if you go to fonts, you can also set it to a fixed font, such as maybe 11 or 10 points. For the font size will look nice. Then to remove the gray box around the widget, you can go back to size, scroll down, and under border color you can choose or click on custom and choose a white color. Then something else you can do is, if you want to, you can also further edit the height of the widget, make it bigger or smaller, as well as for the width you can make it bigger or smaller like this. This looks fine, but maybe let's also change the font. Usually you can go to text H2 and that should change the font of the date flag. Like here, I can select this first font here. If it doesn't change on your end, you can click on the widget, and then here under font, right here, you can select a new font as well. Okay, so this is what we have right now. And if we go back, you see that we shouldn't have any lines above the date flag. So what we can do is click on the widget, and then under color, where the outline color is, we can set this outline color to white. So let's click on the outline color, custom, and set it to white like this. And this will make it white. Next, you also see that we have a light gray color applied to the entire planner. So to do that, go to color, and here we can give a new color to the lines, meaning this line right here, to the header, to the outline. Let's make them all the same color. Click on outline, go to custom, and select this third gray color from the bottom. It's called D1, D1, D1. Click on the header color, custom, and reselect the same gray. Click on the line color, custom, and reselect the same gray color. Okay, now let's close it like this. Now before we move on, let's click again on the date flag and set it to January 1st. January 1st like this. Now click on the widget, copy it, paste it down here below. Also paste it to the other side. Okay, and before we move on, let's also change the dates. So click on it, change this to the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, we go. Okay, now the planner is almost finished. What's left is this part up here. Let's work on this one first. Click on it, and then here you want to insert not the date flag, because what will happen if we insert a date flag is it will fully expand and fill out the entire field. However, we actually just want a new date flag which just is filled inside, so not expanding to the side. Now let me further explain to you. We have just added a date flag, and under style you can choose a new date flag or a new styling, and we would need to select this one right here. It's called week off, like this. However, it will fill out the entire field, and there is no way for us to make this one smaller. So what we would need to do is we would need to insert an empty widget, just an empty widget under special. You can go to special, or actually I think it's miscellaneous. Click on miscellaneous here. And then you can click on the empty widget like this. And from here you can add a date flag on top of it. So don't click the date here, but select the date flag here, like this. And this will add a smaller date flag inside the widget box. You can click on it again. Under size, you can go to this menu from the left and click on center. And you also can click from the top here on center as well. And then you can go back to style. You can scroll down and select this type right here, week of July, and it will look like this. Now we will need to make it bigger, so go back to size, and under width make it bigger like this. Also make it higher like this. Well, actually it just made all the widgets bigger, so be careful here. What you can do is you can click here, scroll the way up. We're still on the size menu. Click on only widget, only selected widget, and now you can adjust the widget, which will only apply it to this single widget and not the rest. So make the width bigger. If you want, you can also go to font and make this font bigger like this. So we have something similar like here. Okay. And then go to date and bring it to January 1st, like this. You see that this date flag still needs to be bigger, so let's go back to size and let's increase the width. Still needs to be bigger. Maybe let me type in 1.5. Okay, just to be sure, maybe let's type in 1.7. And now we're sure that this date flag is big enough. Okay, this is what we have now. And then next, let's add in the calendar below. Click on the space on the widget box here, and then let's go to monthly and insert the calendar. On top here, we can click on this next arrow button to select a date. If this invalid date shows up on your end as well, you can go here to the month and then manually remove it and then type in 2024 and 01 for January, and that usually should fix the issue. Now to center the numbers below the days, you can go to the settings below to day start, and here you can set the numbers to center. Then if you want the days to be shown in a single letter, you can also click here where it says short and you can click on narrow, and now you have single letters. What you can do as well to remove the lines of this calendar is to go to the colors, scroll up to color, and then you want to click on the line color. And you want to click on custom and select the white color like this. You also want to do the same for the outline color. Go to custom and select white. This will also remove the header. Now we have something similar like here. However, let's also remove the days we have here and make the days which will go over to the next month in white. So you can scroll down and then you can click on this menu here. It's called Previous Next Day's Color, and you can make them in white as well, like this. Okay, so this is how it should look like on your end right now. Let me quickly scroll out so you see it. And then next, you see here the word January is in cursive, and you can do the same thing by going to Text, H2, and here you can make your headers cursive if you want. So this one's optional, feel free to select or deselect it. Then next, let's see here, we have a few lines below the calendar. So let's click here and then let's go to Notes and add in a lined widget. We don't need to have a header, so let's remove the header, and then let's also decrease the amount of rows to around 4 or 3. If you want, you can also add the header to add some extra space, but then remove the text like this. And then you can play around with the amount of rows and see what looks nice, what looks good or what doesn't. Now, just from looking, I think that the calendar should be wider, so let me make the calendar a bit bigger. I'll increase it to around 2.1. Don't forget to increase it down here below, 2.1. And then I think we can remove the header to expand the widget up like this. And now I'm trying to make the lines be on the same level as the lines here next to it. So I'm trying to increase and decrease the widgets. And I just found, I think this looks fine, like this. Okay, so I think this measurement here looks fine. Now I'm going to replicate the same measurements here down below so we can make sure that both parts, the upper part and lower part, are the same measurements. So it would be 0.3, 1.8, and then 1. Okay, this part and this part are now the same again. If you want, you can also add some space between the header and the widget under Layout, and then you can go to Header Height, and here you can set it to a new header height. So please look at the calendar, and now when I increase, it also will make the header here bigger. Okay, I'll have it to 0.4 inches. So this header here now is 0.4 inches. This is what we have now. I hope it looks similar on your end as well if you have followed along this tutorial. This is how it should look like. And we now are almost finished. All that is left is to add these horizontal and vertical lines. Now, we cannot do this within the widget, but what we can do is we can go to Stickers, to Widget, and then here there is something called Line Vector, and we can add this line to the planner like this. Click on it and then make it just as wide as the layout. So drag the line to be exactly as wide as the widget here, like this. And then you want to increase the width up here. You can increase the width, and you want to set the line color to the exact same gray color like we did for the other lines. So it's the third gray color from above, from below, like this. And then you will need to set the line height to around 0.89, like this. And then you want to place this line here on top of the last line you see here in the widget. So try to place it like this. If it doesn't look nicely here, that is fine. Just try to place it as good as you can right here. Copy this line, click up here on copy, and also place it to the other side here, like this. And then try to place it here on top of the line, just like this. Okay, next let's go to the left side again, click on it, copy and click on paste. So you now have a second line. Now you want to rotate the line vertically like this. So try to make it as vertical as you can. Just something like this, and then now you can place the line on top. First of all, center it between both widgets here, center it in the middle, and then you can have it go fully to the top or leave some space here, and then do the same down like this. Okay. Again, check if the line is centered. If not, bring it to the center like this. Once completed, select the line, copy it, and place it to the right side like this. Then here again, you want to bring it to the center like this. And let's quickly also move it up a bit. Okay. Now what you want to do next is you want to remove these double lines we have created now here. You can go back to Planner, you can select the widget, and then under last bottom line you can click on hide like this. And this will hide the last line in the widget. So let me show you. Do not hide and hide. And the same for the other side. Click on hide. And then here as well, click on hide. And here also click on hide. And this is the finished planner. So this is how it should look like now on your end. And from here, if you want to create a dated planner, you can go to multiple pages and you can click on duplicate plus change date. And this will add you a new page, and you will also change the date flags in the planner. And you can just click and create data planners like this. Now, before I end this tutorial, I just quickly wanted to show you that in case you're using this for a digital planner and you go to layout, digital planner, and show the layout, it will make the planner smaller, but it will not change the lines. So you will need to go back to sticker, and here you will need to replace the lines back to the middle between the two widgets like this. So in case you're making it for a digital planner, it's possible you will need to readjust the lines. And it's possible you will need to go back to Planner, click on the widget and bring back the last line. So you can go back to Sticker and move the line down to the correct position like this. Okay. And then you can go back to Planner mode and click on the widget, and here hide the line again. So you have something that looks like this. And then you would do the same for the other side. You will go to Sticker, move the lines to the center like this. Then you would also need to move this line here. Go back to Planner, click on the widget, show one of the last bottom lines. So you have a guide on where to place this line here. Place it on top, like this. Okay, and once you have it placed, you can go back to Planner and then hide the last line. And this is how you would resize the template for a digital planner. Then again, you can go to multiple pages, and then you can click on duplicate plus change date like this. Now, before I also showed you how to make it in a grid version. So from here, what you would do to transform it into a grid is you would click on the widget, And then go to Nodes and insert a grid like this. If the grid color is too dark, you can go to the settings under line color and select the light gray next to it like this. And then you can repeat this step for every single widget and insert a grid like this. And then you can also make or adjust the line color to be lighter. Okay, now instead of grids, you can also choose to have dots. So if you click on the widget and go to graph paper, here in the settings you can select something called circle here. And this will add you circles, and then you can also remove the line color here by clicking on line and set it to white to remove this line color right here. And then you can set it to a specific size here. Make it bigger or smaller. So this is how you would create a dotted version. So again, you will click on the widget, go to graph paper, select the circles, and then click on the line color and make it white. And then you would type in how big you want the dots to be. So under height width, you can copy it and paste here the measurement, such as 0.125 inches. And this is how you would do it. So I'll quickly copy and paste it to the other side. And this is how the dotted version would look like, more minimal and more classic. So this is how to further customize it into grid, lines or dots, and also how to make a digital planner version out of it. If you have any questions, you can always message me on Instagram or Facebook, and I will try to respond to your questions as quickly as I can. Bye!